since 1993, which is a long time. They've been great to me. They gave me these sticks back then, and I still have them. It's my one pair. I haven't broken them yet. I guess I should man up. I think if I stay with them long enough, they'll give me another pair. That's what they're telling me. The acoustics are great. I used them on when we did this, when MTV still played videos. They had a show that was called Unplugged, and we did a gig, and I think these were new then. A prototype. And I used them, and they're great. They get a little more crack, and they don't fall apart as much. They're kind of in between a wood dowel acoustic stick and a real stick. Because I'm really conflicted in life. I can't make up my mind, and these are perfect for me. These ones are made of wood. They burn great in the fire. You run out of, royalties, which no artists are getting anymore. The nude finish, great idea. I used to have the guys sand them down. Who didn't? And so when you sweat because you rock so hard, look it, doesn't go anywhere. Old one, gone. Let's try that again. Right there, nude finish, sweaty, huh? Not going anywhere, huh? Old finish, slick, boom. History. So that's a great deal. I don't know what took them so long to do it, and it's probably actually cheaper to make them now. I don't know. Is it? Don't have to varnish them. It's probably just a scam. Don't even do it. Don't buy it. Started playing drums when I was really little. Probably 5. My grandfather had a band called the Crosscats, and I'd go to their rehearsals every Wednesday and get up and play the drums in between. And when I was 9, their drummer retired and asked me to play. And so I joined that band when I was 9, and we'd kind of travel around and play old standards and square dances and all sorts of stuff, parties. And then I became a rock dude. The band started in '87, and I met Jerry when we got together and listened to some of these little demos he had on a 4-track, and I called my buddy Mike Starr, and he came down, and Lane, we were all kind of like drifter, homelessy kind of guys, and we were living in this big. Lane and Jerry were living in this big rehearsal place that had 50 band rooms with bands open 24 hours, and they were kind of had the shifts, to stay there. They had the keys, and they'd let bands into the rooms, and we really wanted Lane to join the band, but he had this other band going on, and he'd jam with us, but he just wouldn't commit when we started getting more serious about trying to be a band, and so we had this idea to purposely start auditioning the shittiest singers we could find. I mean, one guy was even a male stripper. He had like orange hair and looked like the Cowardly Lion. And that was finally the breaking point. That guy came in and was singing, and Lane walked in. He's like, "I'm joining. I can't let you do that." And then rest is history. Somebody discovered that Seattle, Washington existed, and all the music that was going on up there. We were kind of around before that. All took off. I remember being in Europe and stuff on Facelift in like 90, 89, and there was little pods of people all over the world like, oh, the Seattle sound, Sub Pop, and they knew about the bands, but it hadn't turned into, they hadn't invented the word grunge, a journalist hadn't invented that yet. And then as we were doing our second record, Dirt, by the time that was kind of coming out, grunge had been invented, and everything got weird. And nowadays it's really nice after all this we've gone against and all that's happened, and losing such a amazing talent and our friend, that a lot of people came along, and the music lasted all these years. Like radio didn't leave it, and even though we didn't want anything to do with it, and didn't go out there and try to make that happen. That's something that a record company or people like that can't do unless you're actively working it. They can't make that happen. So that's actually people on their own discovering music and passing it along, and radio kept playing it all over. And so it's nice now, the audiences are so different. You got 50-year-olds, 13-year-olds going to the show, which is cool. It is a tough thing to do. I mean, we've all felt like we got burned by some comeback move, It's like, oh, you shouldn't have done that. And so when we went into even thinking about recording the record, we just funded it ourselves just to see, as we got to that point, like, oh, let's see how it sounds. And see if we even have anything, so we wouldn't be tied down to like this has, you have a deal and it has to come out. So we did all the work ourselves, and as the record was finished, then we decided that, should we release it? Yeah, we all did. So do you really want to do this? Take all the crap that's going to come with it, all these people asking all these questions that you didn't, purposely didn't want to talk about for a decade or more, and we felt like it was time to do that. This has been a tremendous challenge, and I'm really proud of all of us for taking it on, and for people to support it and come along with it and give it a chance, and that makes me feel good. That's actually, a big reason for doing it, and to bring the music that we created from our past with Lane and everything into the future, and keep that alive is a really important thing. Like I said, it's not, once in a while, I remember at the beginning of doing it, people were like, it's a cash grab. It's like, there's no money in the music industry too much anymore, man. If it's a cash grab, then why am I writing checks? We self-funded the whole thing, so it's nice to see that people are coming along with it, and that's really important, because it's always the same thing. We just are doing what we like to do, make music, we're friends, doing it together. That was part of the allure of doing this, is to see how it works nowadays. We've been out of it when we last did it. People still bought our albums. It was a different infrastructure, and it was part of the challenge. And you find that at first it was pretty shocking. Like when the albums always leak before they come out, and you find out hundreds of thousands of people stole the record before it even came out. You're like, hey. And then you start having these conversations nowadays too with record labels, as we partnered up with EMI, who's been great to us. If you guys do this, it might transfer into 2,000 album sales. That's exactly how it works nowadays. They worry about those kind of things instead of, if you do this, you could sell an extra 250,000 albums. Like, sell 2,000 albums. But it's really about the touring, and just you do it for the same reason, the love of music. I feel, I'm talking to a lot of the newer bands, and I think the days of cribs and all that are pretty much behind us. I was talking to some guys that are today's sort of rock stars, and they don't own a house. They tour for a year and a half, and they go home, and if they're not right in trying to make a record, they have to get a job or have roommates. You'll talk to other kids, and they're like, it's okay, the music should be free, and you make all your money touring in T-shirts, but it costs a lot to tour, and T-shirts, you're not making yourself. There's another company involved, so we're trying to find how we can operate in a way where we're comfortable. We're not really going to start tweeting or anything. So I'm at the airport getting on an airplane. I had a sandwich. I don't know. It's not really. I like the old days of rock, when you really thought like Jimmy Page lived in a haunted castle. He didn't, but you wanted the myth of rock, and I think that's kind of been destroyed by the fact that the only way a lot of the times you can get anybody to pay attention to you is to constantly be in their face by giving them so much access to what you do. At the end of the day, you're just like everybody else. You're just a guy that makes music, It's really not as interesting as one would think, I think. It's like I'd rather keep my mystery. Marilyn Manson's a monster. His name's Brian, I hear. The guys in Kiss, when I was in Kiss Army, I didn't want to know that they were just normal guys. I wanted to believe that they were those from space, a demon. And then you grow up, you find out they're not. You get bummed out. I got to start it over. This on? Let's get it together.